Okay, that took me 3 separate watches to figure out what the heck just happened there. I suggest you do the same. Just tap back, rewatch. We'll be on the same page.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and we are joined once again by our guy, Craig Button, to start the show. Great to see you, Craig.
Hello, Marissa.
Okay, let's jump right into this. We've got 3 teams left for our one-question series, and we're going to go today with the Canucks. Was last season's 109-point season their 3rd highest in franchise history a fluke, or is this team in the Stanley Cup conversation?
There's a lot of excitement with the Vancouver Canucks, as there should be. There was a renaissance with the Vancouver Canucks last season, finishing first in the Pacific Division. You look at what Rick Tocchet and his group did, it was really significant. Good offensive team, really good defensively, and that was an area where they had to take their game to another level. And with Adam Foote and Sergei Gonchar working with the defenders, it became very noticeable. Now, you can look at their team and understand that without Thatcher Demko being fully healthy and some uncertainty around him, you might say to yourself, boy, are they going to have a tough time repeating what they did last year? When you're a good fundamental defensive team and you're structured really well, I think that you can still achieve at a high level. Listen, they had players last year that had some career seasons. Elias Pettersson was not one of them, and I expect him to show the form that got him a significant contract. But this is a team that isn't about one player. They're well balanced up front. They got length and size on the back end. Artur Silovs came in and did a really nice job. Kevin Lankinen, who they signed with insurance against the potential uncertainty around Thatcher Demko, I think gives this Vancouver Canucks team every reason to believe that they can compete for the Stanley Cup. We know they're not a finished product, but they made moves last year. They'll be open to making moves again this year to try to put them in a better position to compete for the Cup.
You know what, Craig? You could have taken this one either way, and I'm sure Canucks fans would have been fired up in the comments. But, what are they really mad about? Their stadium is across the street from Costco. Just get a dog after, you know? Craig Button, a pleasure as always. We will talk again later in the week.
Always a pleasure.
You might want to grab the popcorn for this one, because the Jeremy Swayman contract stalemate reached new levels of dramatic yesterday, when Bruins president and Dumb and Dumber star Cam Neely said this to the press yesterday, in regard to the Swayman contract situation.
I don't want to get into the weeds with what his ask is, but I know that I have 64 million reasons why I'd be playing right now.
64 million, that's a big number to just be tossing out there. So obviously everybody jumps to the conclusion that Swayman had been offered an 8-year deal with an $8 million AAV. And honestly, a lot of players are mad that he hadn't signed it. But speaking of honesty, Swayman's agent, Louis Gross, came from the top ropes with this statement. Normally, I do not release statements or discuss negotiations through the media. However, in this case, I feel I need to defend my client. At today's press conference, $64 million is referenced. This is the first time that number was discussed in our negotiations. Prior to the press conference, no offer was made reaching that level. We are extremely disappointed. This was not fair to Jeremy. We will take a few days to discuss where we go from here. I love it when a little tea is spilled early in the week like this. We've got so many days to go. It will be interesting to see where the two sides go from here. But it's crazy to think that Boston could have fumbled not 1, but 2 bona fide NHL starters. Although for Leafs fans, it might finally make up for the Tuukka Rask incident. Let's see how this one shakes out over the next week. To the association, and it was media day across the league yesterday. And while we covered everything Raptors in yesterday's show, there was plenty of other fun stuff from across the league, starting with LeBron and Bronny. Because regardless of how you feel about Bronny being a Laker, this right here is a pretty cool father-son moment. But then LeBron let this slip out when talking about his wife and Bronny's mom, Savannah James.
I have a video on my phone of Savannah playing NBA 2K. She doesn't play, he hasn't seen it. She does not play video games. But she went in practice mode and played with her son on practice mode. I forgot to post it. I was going to post it for the world, but I have not yet. But it is super cool. I might have to get a world, later on today. But she was playing with Bronny, and she never, I said, okay, this is what it takes to get you on the video games. Huh? Cool.
And then shortly after that clip went viral, LeBron dropped the Savannah 2K video.
Green bean. Only way you play the game, huh? Only way I could get her to play the game. Go dunk one. Oh, 8. Okay, that was all right. That's a good shot. You know how to do a dunk? Hey!
Honestly, it's just so sweet. The mom is proud of her son, okay? She wants to play as her baby in a video game, and she did pretty good. 2K is hard. 2K is hard. I don't care if it's practice mode. 2K is hard. And let's head to San Antonio. We're just seeing the size difference between Wemby and Chris Paul is something to behold. I love how he's just like, ew, good. His face is pure like, oh, I have to deal with this. And that wasn't the only fun Spurs moment we had, as Chris Paul was asked about his prior relationship with head coach Greg Popovich.
You mentioned Pop. He just was up here a little while ago and said that he's despised you for years.
Yeah, it's mutual.
I mean, at least he's honest. All we can ask for is honesty. And he finished with Jimmy Butler, because over the years he's shown off some pretty iconic looks. But honestly, emo Jimmy from last year's media day is almost impossible to top. And that's why he didn't even try yesterday.
I'm here, normal hair, no shenanigans. That's all I got.
I feel like he just didn't have time to plan something. It's like me with Halloween this year. Do I have time to plan an awesome costume or just leave it? If it's not gonna be awesome, what's the point? Or should I wear 5 costumes like I did in Digital Sportscentre year 1? I don't know. The wait is almost over as we are just 3 days away from the start of the NHL season. So yeah, obviously we're gonna throw up a FNUF graphic today. And early in the show, we had Craig Button continuing his series previewing the Canadian teams. But today we're going to look at some American teams, 3 to be specific that really caught our attention. First up, the Nashville Predators, which seems like the most obvious choice, as they loaded up on championship pedigree, bringing in 2 Stanley Cup champions, each of whom lit the lamp 40 times last season. And it didn't take Stammer long to show off his signature one-timer.
Nashville on the power play for another 113 across. One-timer they score, and it's Stamkos. A power play goal for Nashville.
In addition to these 2 established pieces, the Preds also fortified their blue line, with former Canes D-man Brady Shea, adding to an existing core that includes crafty goal scorer Philip Forsberg and former Norris Trophy recipient Roman Josi. And goaltender UC Saros has been in the top 5 of Vezina voting for each of the last 3 seasons. And yeah, we're excited to see the Preds to the ice. Next up, we got Dallas, where an infusion of young talent looks ready for the next step. And that starts with Wyatt Johnston, who took the league by storm at age 20 last year, putting up 32 goals, while also showing off the type of skill rarely shown by a 20-year-old. He's already recorded 106 points in his young career, and he looks primed to take another step this season. On top of that, they've got promising youngsters like Logan Stankoven and Maverick Bourque, further representing a changing of the guard in Dallas. And we finish with the Devils. Is this the year a promising Devil squad finally puts it all together? One element that certainly helps is an established crease. After being heavily rumored as Markstrom suitors at the deadline, the Devils finally got their guy. And in front of Markstrom, the Devils will welcome back Dougie Hamilton with open arms as they try to maximize the potential of Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and other young pieces. But while all these are American previews, the Devils certainly have a Canadian angle, as former Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe takes over behind the bench. Not only that, but Keefe is listed as the betting favorite to win Coach of the Year on FanDuel, so you know that's got Leafs fans feeling a type of way. That's it for today. We'll start back tomorrow 3 Eastern. No Pacific. Have a good one.